ladies and gentlemen. One of the most common myths about creativity is that it's something you're either born with or you're not. We often think of creativity as an inherent trait, something that's tied to a select group of artists or visionaries. But the truth is, creativity is not just a natural gift, it's a skill that can be developed, nurtured, and honed over time, just like any other ability. Think about it. We don't tell someone who wants to become a great athlete or musician, you're either born with it or you're not. No, people train, practice, and refine their skills. In the same way, creativity requires practice and intention. Just like learning to play an instrument, you have to exercise your creative muscles. For instance, many people who are considered highly creative didn't start out that way. Creativity is often the result of consistent effort and openness to new ideas. Take famous inventors like Thomas Edison or Steve Jobs. They weren't born as geniuses with all the answers. They developed their creativity through trial and error, hard work, and an openness to exploring unconventional paths. Edison famously said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." This isn't just about hard work, it's about engaging in the creative process repeatedly, embracing the discomfort of failure, and having the perseverance to keep going. Furthermore, creativity is not limited to the artistic fields. It's something that can be applied in business, science, technology, and even personal relationships. Creative problem solving is critical in overcoming challenges in all areas of life. You don't need to be an artist to be creative. You simply need to learn how to think differently and approach situations with curiosity and imagination. So how can you develop creativity? First, start by giving yourself permission to be creative, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Start small by allowing yourself to try new things without worrying about the outcome. Experimentation is key. Creativity thrives when we embrace uncertainty and the unknown. Next, cultivate a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can improve with effort and dedication. When you believe that creativity can be developed, you become more open to learning, exploring new approaches, and pushing the boundaries of what you think is possible. Finally, remember that creativity often flourishes in collaborative environments. Surround yourself with diverse perspectives and engage with people who think differently. By doing so, you'll open yourself up to new ideas and creative sparks that you might not have come up with on your own. In essence, creativity isn't just for the chosen few or for those with a specific talent. It's a skill that belongs to everyone. With intention, practice, and an openness to new experiences, you can unlock your creative potential and bring innovative solutions to all aspects of your life. One of the most powerful ways to unlock creativity is by challenging your own assumptions, those deeply held beliefs and mental shortcuts that shape how we view the world and approach problems. Assumptions are the mental lenses through which we interpret everything around us. They are often formed by our past experiences, social conditioning, and cultural influences. While assumptions can make life easier by helping us make quick decisions, they can also limit our creativity by narrowing the scope of possibilities. To truly unlock creative potential, you need to step outside of the box, but more importantly, you need to step outside of your own mindset and begin questioning the very foundations of your thinking. When you challenge your assumptions, you force yourself to see things in new ways. You open yourself up to new ideas, perspectives, and possibilities that you may have otherwise overlooked. Think about this for a moment. The most innovative breakthroughs throughout history came from people who didn't accept things as they were. They questioned the status quo. Consider the Wright brothers. Before their time, it was widely accepted that human flight was impossible. The assumption was that flying machines were a fantasy, not a reality, but the Wright brothers challenged that assumption, refusing to believe that the laws of physics couldn't be bent, and ultimately created the first successful powered airplane. In the same way, you can challenge your own assumptions in every area of life to unlock creativity. When you encounter a problem or a challenge, pause and ask yourself. Challenging assumptions doesn't mean rejecting everything that has worked in the past. It's about being willing to ask tough questions, to push boundaries, and to entertain the idea that there might be a better way. It's about embracing the mindset of a beginner, someone who looks at the world with fresh eyes and doesn't take things for granted. It's about allowing yourself to entertain unconventional solutions, to explore alternatives, and to push yourself into unfamiliar territory. For example, in the tech industry, many companies rely on disruptive innovation, that is, finding ways to challenge the conventional models and systems that already exist. Companies like Apple, Tesla, and Airbnb have succeeded by questioning deeply held assumptions. Apple didn't just build a better phone, they challenged assumptions about how we interact with technology with the introduction of the touchscreen and the App Store. Tesla didn't just create electric cars, they questioned assumptions about the future of sustainable energy and changed the auto industry forever. Airbnb didn't just offer a new way to book accommodations, they challenged the assumption that hotels were the only way to travel comfortably. By challenging assumptions, you're opening yourself up to new paradigms of thinking. You stop seeing problems as insurmountable obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities to innovate. When you stop relying on old models and start exploring new ones, creativity flourishes. Moreover, challenging assumptions isn't just about being critical or contrarian. It's about curiosity and play. It's about allowing yourself to imagine possibilities that may seem impractical or unrealistic at first. Creative thinking requires a willingness to embrace the unknown and venture into areas where answers aren't immediately clear. One key way to challenge assumptions is by practicing what's called lateral thinking, looking at a problem from an entirely different angle. Instead of following a linear path of thought, you begin to think in multiple directions at once, generating ideas that are unexpected and unconventional. For instance, if you're designing a product, don't just ask, how can I make this better? Ask, what would happen if I made this completely different, or what would happen if this product didn't exist at all? A famous example of lateral thinking is the creation of the Post-it note. The idea came about when an engineer at 3M, Spencer Silver, was trying to develop a super strong adhesive. Instead, he accidentally created a weak one that didn't hold well. Most people would have dismissed it as a failure. But Silver and his colleague Art Fry challenged the assumption that adhesives should be strong. They saw the weak adhesive as an opportunity to create something new, a repositionable note. The Post-it note is now one of the most iconic office products in the world. In addition to lateral thinking, you can challenge your assumptions by seeking out diverse viewpoints. Creativity thrives in environments where different perspectives intersect. When we surround ourselves with people who think and see the world differently, we are forced to question our own assumptions and broaden our thinking. Collaboration with people who have different skills, backgrounds, and experiences can help break down the walls of your own assumptions and lead to more creative solutions. When you challenge assumptions, you are developing cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt your thinking to new and evolving information. Cognitive flexibility is essential for creativity because it allows you to pivot when something isn't working, to rethink your strategies, and to approach problems from multiple angles. The more you practice challenging your assumptions, the easier it becomes to move beyond your mental limits and tap into deeper creative insights. Creativity doesn't emerge from a void, it thrives when you broaden your mental horizons and immerse yourself in new environments. Think of your mind like a garden. If you keep planting the same seeds in the same soil, you'll get similar results. But if you bring in a variety of seeds, new experiences, ideas, and viewpoints, you'll cultivate a garden full of diverse and rich possibilities. The same applies to creativity. The more variety you introduce to your mind, the more fertile the ground becomes for new, innovative ideas to grow. One of the easiest and most powerful ways to feed your mind is through reading. However, it's not just about reading more, it's about reading differently. Too often, we read only within our areas of expertise or interest, whether it's business books, self-help guides, or novels from the same genre. While this is important, reading widely from a variety of fields, genres, and cultures introduces fresh ideas that may not be directly related to your work, but can inspire new ways of thinking. For example, reading philosophy might help you approach a problem from a different angle, while science fiction might stimulate futuristic thinking about technology. Books on art or history can offer new metaphors and ways of looking at the world, while psychology can deepen your understanding of human behavior, which can be useful in everything from business strategy to personal relationships. In a practical sense, you can set a goal to read books or articles that challenge your thinking, even if they're outside of your primary interests or expertise. The key is to expose yourself to different ways of thinking, storytelling, and problem solving. New ideas and concepts often emerge when you least expect them. Travel is another powerful tool for feeding your mind with new experiences. When you travel, you encounter unfamiliar environments, languages, cultures, and ways of living. These experiences broaden your understanding of the world and, more importantly, expand your creative toolkit. When you travel, you aren't just seeing new places, you're experiencing different worldviews and ways of thinking. For instance, in Japan, the concept of wabi-sabi teaches the beauty of imperfection, while in Africa, communal living and storytelling traditions emphasize collective creativity. In the Middle East, you might encounter a deep history of craftsmanship and artistry that stretches back thousands of years. Even if you don't have the opportunity to travel internationally, local exploration can also feed your mind with new experiences. Take a different route to work, visit a new neighborhood, or immerse yourself in a cultural festival you've never experienced before. Being in unfamiliar environments forces your brain to work harder, adapt to new stimuli, and look for creative ways to make sense of what you're seeing and experiencing. One of the most powerful ways to stimulate creativity is to engage with people who think differently from you. Interacting with individuals from diverse backgrounds, industries, or cultures can provide fresh perspectives and spark new ideas. Consider how people in different professions approach problems. A designer might solve a challenge with visual thinking, while an engineer might use technical processes and systems thinking. A musician might approach a problem in an abstract, metaphorical way, while a scientist might look for data-driven solutions. By surrounding yourself with people from diverse fields, you'll be exposed to new frameworks, thought processes, and problem-solving approaches that you can apply in your own creative endeavors. Networking, collaborating, and even attending events or conferences outside of your industry can open doors to new ways of thinking. If you're an entrepreneur, for example, speaking with artists, educators, or psychologists can provide insights into customer behavior, communication, and innovative thinking that you might not find within your business circle. This diversity of thought is crucial because creativity often emerges at the intersection of disparate ideas. When you bring together concepts from seemingly unrelated fields, you're more likely to uncover new insights and breakthroughs. A famous example is the creation of Post-it notes, a product born from a combination of a failed experiment in adhesives and an engineer's desire for temporary bookmarks. This intersection of chemistry and practicality created a widely successful product. The key to feeding your mind with new experiences is embracing curiosity and a willingness to experiment. Creativity thrives on exploration and risk-taking. Don't be afraid to try new things, even if they seem outside your area of expertise. You never know what unexpected connections might be made or what new ideas might come to you as a result of stepping outside your comfort zone. Take up a new hobby, try painting, playing a musical instrument, or learning to cook a new cuisine. These activities can spark your creativity by forcing you to think in new ways and embrace a beginner's mindset. Experiment with different problem-solving techniques. If you're used to brainstorming in a group, try solving a problem individually, or vice versa. Experiment with mind mapping, role-playing, or using random word associations to trigger new ideas. Learn a new skill. Take an online course in something unrelated to your field like coding, photography, or creative writing. These activities stimulate your brain and give you new tools to approach problems from a different angle. Finally, it's important to create space for reflection after experiencing something new. We often think of creativity as something that requires hard work, discipline, and logic. While these are important, the spark that ignites creative thinking often comes from a deeper, more intrinsic place: your passions. These are the activities that make time feel like it flies by, the things you do not out of obligation, but because they resonate with who you are. When we engage with things we love, we enter a state of flow where we feel connected to the work itself, rather than focusing solely on the end result. This state of mind opens the door to new insights and creative solutions that we might never have considered otherwise. When you immerse yourself in activities that spark your passion, you'll often find that the skills and insights you develop can spill over into other areas of your life, sometimes in surprising ways. For instance, someone who loves painting may find that their attention to detail and ability to think in metaphors helps them approach problem solving in their professional work with greater creativity. Or a person passionate about music may apply the discipline and pattern recognition learned through mastering an instrument to their approach to coding or architecture. The connection between passions and creativity comes from the mental and emotional engagement they require. When you're deeply invested in something, you stop thinking about it as just a task and instead allow yourself to experiment, to fail, and to learn. This mindset is critical for creativity because it allows you to take risks, think outside the box, and make new connections that you might not have made if you were only focused on the outcome. Engaging with your passions also provides a valuable respite from the pressures of work, routine, or creative blocks. It's common to experience periods of burnout or creative stagnation when we're too focused on producing or achieving specific goals. When this happens, one of the best things you can do is take a step back and immerse yourself in something that excites you without any expectations or the pressure to perform. For example, if you're feeling stuck in your job or struggling to generate ideas for a project, taking time to write, paint, dance, or play a musical instrument can help refresh your mind. These activities give you permission to step away from the grind and tap into a more instinctive, playful way of thinking. They allow your mind to reset, and in doing so, you might find that solutions to your work-related challenges emerge naturally once you return to them with a renewed perspective. Engaging with your passions allows you to take a break from thinking and instead enter a more intuitive, subconscious space where creativity flows more freely. Your passions expose you to unique experiences that broaden your worldview. For example, if you're passionate about hiking and spend time in nature, you may find that the natural world gives you fresh perspectives on structure, balance, and interconnectedness, all of which can inform creative work in unexpected ways. Similarly, someone who loves cooking might find inspiration in the process of combining ingredients, creating flavors, and experimenting with different textures, which could translate into new ways of approaching projects in business or design. When you engage deeply with your passions, you also open yourself up to learning new skills and techniques that can expand your creative toolkit. When you are passionate about something, it is much easier to stay motivated and resilient, even in the face of obstacles. Passion gives you a deep sense of purpose, and when you face setbacks, you're more likely to view them as challenges to be overcome rather than as insurmountable problems. This attitude is incredibly important for creativity, as it helps you maintain the persistence required to bring new ideas to life. For example, artists, musicians, and writers often encounter failure or rejection, but their passion for their craft keeps them going. Similarly, when you're passionate about a project or goal, you're more likely to push through the difficult moments, keep refining your ideas, and try new approaches. Passion gives you the resilience to keep experimenting, learning, and growing, an essential characteristic for anyone looking to innovate or solve complex problems. Moreover, engaging in passionate pursuits helps you develop mental discipline and focus. When you're fully engaged in an activity you love, you're able to focus your attention and energy more effectively. This heightened focus can transfer to your work, helping you approach challenges with greater concentration and clarity. When you follow your passions, the act of creating becomes less about achieving external recognition and more about the joy of creation itself. This shift in focus away from pressure and towards intrinsic motivation can make the creative process much more enjoyable and fulfilling. This joy can, in turn, fuel further creativity. When you enjoy what you're doing, you're more likely to invest time in honing your skills, experimenting with new ideas, and taking risks, three key components of creativity. Think of someone who loves writing. They write not because they have to, but because they find joy in the act of expression. This enjoyment fosters a natural flow of ideas and creative energy that can lead to breakthroughs in both their personal and professional lives. When you engage with your passions, you connect with the most authentic parts of yourself. You're not creating for validation, money, or approval. You're creating because it feels meaningful to you. This authenticity can lead to more original and innovative work. It's easy to get caught up in trends, industry standards, or external pressures, but when you stay true to what excites and inspires you, your creativity flourishes in ways that are uniquely yours. By following your passions, you create not only for external success, but for personal fulfillment. When we're constantly on the go, our minds are often bogged down by busy thoughts, deadlines, and distractions. In such a state, it's difficult to access deeper levels of creativity. But when we allow ourselves moments of pause and reflection, our minds can begin to sift through ideas, make connections, and incubate new insights. Creativity often works in the background, developing ideas when we're not actively trying to force them. One of the most underappreciated aspects of creativity is reflection, the ability to step back, process, and let ideas percolate. Reflection allows your brain to synthesize and integrate all the new information you've absorbed, whether it's from reading, collaborating, or experiencing the world. It's during moments of quiet reflection that you begin to make connections between seemingly unrelated ideas and concepts. Think of the famous scientist Albert Einstein, who often took long walks to clear his mind. These walks were not just for physical exercise. They allowed his mind to wander, to connect ideas that he had been mulling over. Many of his great breakthroughs, including the theory of relativity, came not from sitting in a lab, but from allowing his mind to move freely, without the constraints of immediate productivity. Similarly, authors, inventors, and artists have long understood the importance of reflection. A writer may not always be actively writing, but rather reflecting on a concept or a character. An inventor may not have a breakthrough in the middle of a brainstorming session, but rather while they're taking a walk or lying in bed. These moments of reflection are crucial for creative incubation when your mind is able to process, organize, and rearrange ideas in new and unexpected ways. Creativity also thrives when we allow ourselves to play not with any specific goal or agenda, but simply for the sake of exploration and fun. Play encourages us to experiment without fear of failure or judgment. It provides the freedom to try new things, make mistakes, and discover surprising solutions. In the world of business and design, play has long been recognized as a key ingredient for innovation. Companies like Google and Pixar have embraced the idea that play can foster creativity by providing employees with time and space to experiment, explore, and have fun. At Google, engineers and developers are encouraged to spend 20% of their time on projects that are not directly tied to their work goals, allowing for unstructured exploration. It's through these moments of play, whether it's designing a quirky app, brainstorming wild ideas, or experimenting with new concepts, that some of the company's most innovative products were born. On a personal level, engaging in playful activities allows you to shift out of a results-oriented mindset and into a more open, experimental state. When you play, whether through drawing, dancing, cooking, or even playing a game, you are no longer focused on achieving a specific outcome. Instead, you're allowing yourself to explore and express freely. This process is liberating and provides a fertile ground for new ideas. For example, doodling while thinking through a problem might lead to an unexpected insight. Or spontaneous improvisation in music or writing might open doors to creative directions you hadn't considered before. These playful moments allow the brain to loosen up and move past habitual ways of thinking, opening the door to new possibilities. One of the main reasons why people shy away from creative activities is the fear of not being good enough, that their ideas or efforts won't be perfect. Perfectionism is the enemy of creativity because it creates a fear of failure that stifles risk-taking and experimentation. To unlock creativity, it's essential to let go of the need to create something flawless and instead embrace the process of exploration and iteration. Allowing time for reflection and play is one of the most effective ways to release the pressure to be perfect. When you're not focused on the end result, you're free to experiment, make mistakes, and learn from them. This is where real creativity happens, not in the pursuit of perfection, but in the freedom to try something new and imperfect. After all, many of the world's greatest creative discoveries, whether in art, science, or technology, have come from people who were willing to fail and learn from those failures. For example, Thomas Edison famously went through thousands of iterations before inventing the light bulb. Instead of being discouraged by failure, he treated each failure as an opportunity to learn and improve. His famous quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," reflects the mindset that creativity requires embracing imperfection and allowing space for trial and error. Sometimes the best way to engage in creative thinking is to give yourself permission to do nothing at all, to let your mind wander without a specific focus or objective. In today's world, where we are constantly connected to devices and bombarded with information, it can be difficult to allow ourselves such moments of idleness. Yet research has shown that the most creative ideas often emerge when we are doing nothing during moments of downtime, when our minds are not actively focused on solving a problem or achieving a goal. Daydreaming or allowing your mind to wander freely is actually an important part of the creative process. It's in these moments of idle thinking that our brain is able to make new connections, process emotions, and consolidate information in new ways. Think about how often you come up with great ideas while in the shower, driving, or just before falling asleep. These moments of non-productivity are actually when your brain is making important creative connections. Similarly, taking naps or engaging in light physical activity like walking or yoga can offer your brain a break, which leads to clearer thinking and more creative insights. By incorporating more downtime and space into your routine, you are giving your brain the freedom it needs to enter those highly creative, unconstrained states. While structured work and focus are important for getting things done, creativity thrives in the balance between structure and freedom. Too much structure can feel stifling, while too much freedom can lead to a lack of direction. To strike the right balance, you need to create designated times for focused, productive work as well as times for unstructured play, reflection, and downtime. Set aside time for intentional reflection, for journaling, thinking, or simply being still with your thoughts. Allow yourself unscheduled moments of play where you can engage in spontaneous creative activities without worrying about an outcome. These moments of freedom will help you refresh your mind, spark new ideas, and return to your structured tasks with greater energy and creativity. Failure is often viewed as something to avoid, a sign that something has gone wrong. In reality, failure is not the opposite of creativity. It is an essential part of the creative journey. In fact, some of the most successful innovations in history were born from repeated failures. Creativity thrives in the soil of failure, as it is through mistakes and setbacks that we learn, adapt, and refine our ideas. One of the key reasons people avoid taking risks or trying new things is a fear of failure, whether it's fear of being judged, fear of looking incompetent, or fear of not meeting their own or others' expectations. But this fear can be paralyzing and inhibit the very thing that fuels creativity experimentation. To create something new and groundbreaking, you must be willing to venture into the unknown, where failure is not only possible but likely. Rather than thinking of failure as something to be feared, it's more productive to view it as feedback and opportunity to learn something important that guides you towards success. When an idea or project doesn't work out, it isn't necessarily a reflection of your abilities or potential. It's simply the process of trial and error, and each failure offers insights into what doesn't work, which is equally valuable as knowing what does. For example, Thomas Edison is famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His numerous failures in developing the electric light bulb weren't signs of incompetence. They were essential steps in discovering the right materials, design, and methods. With each failure, he refined his approach and brought himself closer to a successful solution. Failure, in this sense, becomes a teacher, offering insights that can help steer you toward more effective ideas and strategies. The same applies to entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, and innovators across all fields. The failures of Steve Jobs, for instance, helped shape his understanding of technology, design, and business in a way that ultimately led to the revolutionary products of Apple. Similarly, J.K. Rowling faced numerous rejections before Harry Potter became the worldwide phenomenon it is today. What set them apart was not avoiding failure, but embracing it as part of the journey, learning from their missteps and persisting with greater insight. Failure is often the result of risk-taking, and risk is a crucial ingredient for creativity. If you are only doing what you know will succeed, you are likely staying within the bounds of what is familiar and comfortable. True innovation requires stepping outside of your comfort zone, experimenting with new ideas, and taking chances. For example, think about the process of creating a new product or service. If you are too afraid to fail, you might stick with safe, incremental changes rather than taking bold steps that could lead to groundbreaking breakthroughs. The risk of failure is what makes the creative process so exciting and full of potential. The most innovative solutions often come from those who are willing to challenge the status quo and embrace the possibility of failure. Failure isn't the end, it's simply a step in the direction of success. Every time you fail, you gather new information about what doesn't work, which can lead to refined strategies and fresh perspectives. This constant refinement is what leads to innovative, creative solutions. Creativity is not just about generating new ideas, it's about perseverance. It's about continuing to push forward even after facing obstacles, rejection, and failure. When you fail, you have two choices: you can give up, or you can learn from the experience, adjust your approach, and keep going. The ability to persevere in the face of failure is often what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Resilience is built through experience. The more you face and embrace failure, the more you develop the mental fortitude and emotional strength to overcome challenges. As you fail and learn, you build confidence in your ability to handle setbacks and keep moving forward. This resilience is critical for long-term success in any creative endeavor, whether you're working on a personal project, starting a business, or pursuing an artistic career. For example, Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination, and his first animation studio went bankrupt. Yet he didn't let these failures define him. Instead, he used them as learning experiences and kept pushing forward, ultimately creating the global entertainment empire we know today. Each failure was a lesson in what not to do, and through that process, he became better and more innovative. When things don't go as planned, failure forces us to reassess our strategies and consider new approaches. It is in those moments of failure that we learn to adapt, to pivot when necessary, to rethink our assumptions, and to develop creative solutions to problems that we hadn't anticipated. Take the example of Post-it notes, an invention that came about because of an accidental failure. Spencer Silver, a 3M scientist, was trying to develop a super strong adhesive but ended up with one that was weak. Rather than abandoning the project, he kept experimenting with it until he realized it could be used to create repositionable notes. What began as a failure to meet the original goal led to a wildly successful product that transformed office culture worldwide. For instance, Steve Jobs, in the early days of Apple, encouraged a culture of experimentation and creativity. The team wasn't just focused on producing a product, they were encouraged to play with ideas, iterate on prototypes, and explore possibilities without worrying about perfecting them from the start. This mindset led to some of the most innovative designs in technology history. One of the reasons that play is so powerful is because it naturally reduces stress and promotes relaxation. The constant pressure to produce results, meet deadlines, and achieve success can be mentally and emotionally draining, leading to burnout and creative blocks. Play, on the other hand, offers a reprieve from this pressure. When we engage in playful activities, we allow ourselves to step away from our daily responsibilities and the weight of expectations. This mental break is incredibly important for creativity because it helps reset the brain. Relaxation and enjoyment can foster an environment where new ideas are allowed to surface. Studies show that when we are relaxed or in a playful mindset, we are more likely to think creatively, make new connections, and approach problems in a fresh way. In fact, studies on creativity have shown that participants who engaged in playful activities perform better on creative tasks than those who were simply told to focus on work. Think about how many of us have come up with our best ideas when we're doing something lighthearted or unrelated to the task at hand, whether it's during a walk, playing a game, or even just daydreaming. Play creates a mental space where the brain is freed from overthinking and perfectionism, and that is often when new, creative insights emerge. As adults, we often fall into patterns of behavior that prioritize efficiency over curiosity. We may be so focused on tasks and outcomes that we forget to explore, wonder, and ask, what if curiosity is a fundamental driver of creativity, but it can be stifled by the pressures of work and life? Play allows us to reconnect with our sense of wonder and exploration, the very qualities that fuel innovation. When you engage in play, you are essentially giving yourself permission to question assumptions, try new things, and reimagine what's possible. This is critical to creative thinking, as it encourages a mindset of openness and discovery. By removing constraints and embracing a spirit of play, we're able to shift from a problem-solving mindset to a curiosity-driven one, where ideas flow more freely and solutions can be more innovative. For example, Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group, often describes how he approaches challenges with a playful mindset. He believes that a sense of fun and an exploratory attitude can lead to breakthrough ideas and new business ventures. His company has ventured into everything from music to airlines to space tourism, often driven by a willingness to experiment and have fun in the process. When we engage in play, especially in a group setting, it helps break down barriers and encourages more open communication. Play promotes collaboration because it creates a space where people can connect, share ideas, and build on each other's input in a relaxed, non-judgmental environment. In a creative team, allowing time for playful activities can foster a sense of camaraderie and trust, which are key to effective collaboration. When we take the pressure off and allow ourselves to just have fun, we are more likely to share ideas openly without fear of judgment and to support each other's creativity. Think about the way that some of the most innovative companies such as Google, Pixar, and IDEO have built playfulness into their work culture. These companies encourage employees to step away from the pressure of deadlines and engage in creative, collaborative play. It's not uncommon to see employees at Google playing games, brainstorming through improvisational activities, or engaging in team-building exercises that allow for creativity to flow in non-traditional ways. This playful atmosphere fosters an environment where collaboration becomes second nature, leading to groundbreaking solutions and creative breakthroughs. Another significant aspect of play is that it allows you to reconnect with your inner child, the part of you that is unafraid to dream, imagine, and create. Children play because they are naturally curious and driven by pure enjoyment, not by the desire for external rewards. This mindset is critical for adults who want to regain a sense of joy and enthusiasm in their creative endeavors. When we get too caught up in adult responsibilities and expectations, we often lose touch with that childlike curiosity, imagination, and sense of wonder that make creativity so vibrant. But engaging in play, whether through art, sports, games, or even just daydreaming, can help reignite that spark and bring back the enthusiasm that often fades with age. For example, adults who return to hobbies like painting, playing music, or writing fiction often find that the process of creating feels incredibly fulfilling because it reconnects them with the intrinsic joy of self-expression. Similarly, physical play like dancing, hiking, or playing sports can offer a sense of freedom and exhilaration that reminds us of the joy of being alive, and this joy naturally fuels creative thinking. If you've ever experienced a creative block, you know how frustrating it can be to sit at a desk and try to force ideas out of your mind. The harder you try, the more elusive creativity becomes. This is where play comes in as an antidote to stagnation. When you feel blocked or stuck, taking a break to engage in playful activities such as going for a walk, playing a game, or working on an unrelated project can help clear the mental clutter and free up your mind to think in new ways. By shifting your attention away from the pressure of producing and allowing your mind to wander freely, you give it the freedom it needs to break out of rigid thinking patterns. Play helps you reconnect with spontaneity and fluidity, enabling you to approach problems with a fresh perspective. Think about the creative practices of famous artists, writers, and innovators who swear by the power of play. Pablo Picasso famously said, "It took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child." He understood that the freedom and joy of a child's approach to art, unconcerned with rules, conventions, or perfection, was key to his own creativity. One of the most powerful engines of creativity and innovation is the act of collaboration. While individual brilliance is valuable, it is often when diverse minds come together, each with their unique perspectives, skills, and ideas, that the most groundbreaking solutions emerge. Innovation thrives in environments where ideas are shared, challenged, refined, and blended to form something entirely new. Collaboration fosters synergy, where the collective potential of a team is far greater than the sum of its parts. In the world of creative problem-solving, collaboration is not just a nice-to-have, it is a necessity. It is through collaboration that we expose ourselves to ideas and viewpoints we might never have considered on our own. Creative breakthroughs often happen when we step outside our own bubbles and engage with others who think differently, challenge assumptions, and offer alternative solutions. Whether in the realm of business, technology, science, art, or any other creative endeavor, the ability to work together across disciplines and perspectives is crucial for innovation. One of the greatest advantages of collaboration is the ability to draw on diverse experiences and expertise. When people from different backgrounds, industries, or skill sets come together, they bring new lenses through which to view problems. What one person sees as a roadblock, another might view as an opportunity. This cross-pollination of ideas leads to a broader pool of solutions and often results in ideas that wouldn't emerge in isolation. Take the development of the iPhone, for example. It wasn't just the work of Apple engineers and designers. It involved collaboration with software developers, hardware engineers, marketers, and even artists who contributed to its design and interface. By bringing together experts from a wide range of fields, Apple was able to create not just a phone, but a revolutionary product that combined technology, aesthetics, and user experience in a way that no single team member could have conceived alone. In the science community, collaboration has led to some of the most significant breakthroughs in history. The Human Genome Project, for instance, was the result of the combined efforts of scientists from around the world. By sharing data, knowledge, and resources, they were able to map the entire human genome, a feat that no single lab could have achieved on its own. The diversity of thought, methodology, and approach was what made this project so successful. In many organizations, people tend to work in silos, each group focusing on their own areas of expertise without much interaction with others. While specialization can be beneficial, it can also limit creativity by creating narrow perspectives. Collaboration helps break down these silos, allowing individuals to step outside their usual boundaries and see challenges from different angles. In a collaborative environment, people are encouraged to think holistically. Instead of tackling a problem from a single, isolated perspective, team members come together to combine their knowledge and approach the problem from multiple angles. This leads to more comprehensive and innovative solutions. For example, in product design, engineers, designers, marketers, and even customer service representatives can collaborate to create a product that is not only functional but also user-friendly, aesthetically pleasing, and well-positioned in the market. The concept of design thinking is an excellent example of this collaborative approach. In design thinking, teams work together to deeply empathize with users, define problems from multiple perspectives, ideate a range of possible solutions, and prototype quickly and iteratively. This collaborative cycle encourages creativity and results in products that meet real user needs in innovative ways. When people collaborate, they don't just share ideas, they also challenge each other's assumptions. In an environment where ideas are freely exchanged and critiqued, individuals are forced to think more critically and to defend their ideas, which strengthens the ideas themselves. Healthy debate and constructive criticism encourage teams to dig deeper, question the status quo, and explore new possibilities. Often, we get stuck in our own thinking patterns, the way we've always done things or the solutions we've found before. But when others bring new viewpoints and ask difficult questions, it forces us to rethink our approach and consider alternatives. This is particularly important in the creative process, where the willingness to challenge assumptions can lead to radical innovation. For instance, in the world of technology, the idea of disruptive innovation often comes from outsiders, people who have not yet been shaped by the traditional thinking within an industry. Steve Jobs and Elon Musk are prime examples of innovators who didn't just work within the existing frameworks of their industries, they challenged those frameworks entirely. Jobs encouraged a culture of thinking differently, and in doing so, transformed multiple industries. Similarly, Musk approaches the problems of space exploration, electric vehicles, and energy with a mindset that challenges conventional limits.